I'm recording this several days into the UK's lockdown, which means that almost all of us are working from home, our children are home, and in fact we're only allowed to go out to buy groceries and other necessities. Now this is all a very unusual experience for most of us. Our countries have never experienced this sort of crisis in the past 3 decades. We have lived in peace and mostly in prosperity, with only small crises, but only the sort of crisis that a government could solve on its own. And now we're all being asked to contribute to the national effort, whether we live in the UK or in Italy that has been under lockdown for much longer already, in France or in Spain. The situation is the same in almost every country. And that raises the question, what should the public do? What should the public be expected to do in a crisis like this? Now, the approach by different governments has been varied, but in most cases it has been very improvised, simply because we are not set up for public participation in national security efforts. And when this crisis is over, it's worth considering how we can be better prepared for the next crisis, because there will be another crisis requiring a national effort where everybody plays a role. One way in which the public can play a role, and that's something that RUSI has put forward in the report written by me that was released earlier this year, is through resilience training for teenagers, where teenagers are trained in national crisis response and in emergency preparedness, so that they know what to do in case of a crisis. And that will be useful for them and for their families and their communities, and as a result for the whole country. Another way is competitive national service, where the government will be able to select the best 18 and 19-year-olds, so not just the armed forces, but all parts of the government involved with national security in the wider sense, including the National Health Service. And the teenagers, the 18 and 19-year-olds selected, would be trained in specialist skills that they would then form a surge capacity for the government in case of a crisis, whether it be a crisis caused by Mother Nature or a crisis caused by a hostile state, which is something that can't be excluded.